Tonight, Iran launches a series of missiles at Israel after an Israeli attack on the outskirts of Beirut. Growing cracks in the fragile ceasefire, even as Donald Trump insists again a deal with Iran is close. Plus, Scott Pelley hits back after being fired from 60 Minutes.
There was a thumb on the scale for the president's version of events.
His emotional interview alleging a pro-Trump bias by those running CBS News. And financial fraud targeting innocent Canadians on a massive scale.
I'm not like a high-income guy. We have mortgage, car payment, kids.
Our Go Public investigation into one man's devastating case and the urgent calls for change.
From CBC News, this is The National with Ian Hennemanson.
The Middle East is bracing for more violence tonight after a wave of strikes threatens to push the region back into all-out war. This evening, Israeli skies lit up as Iran took direct aim on the country, the first time that's happened since a ceasefire in April. And Israel has responded, launching strikes on what it says are Iranian military targets. As Mike Crawley explains, what happens next will be crucial for any hope of a peace deal, one the U.S. president has insisted is close.
Video released by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps of what it says were some of Sunday night's missile attacks on Israel. Iran's first against Israel since agreeing to a ceasefire with the U.S. exactly 2 months ago. And while Israel's defense systems intercepted the attacks, the mid-air explosions and air raid sirens signaled that the U.S. and Israel's war with Iran is anything but over. Iran said its attacks came in retaliation for this, Israel's strikes earlier Sunday in the southern suburbs of Beirut on what Israel described as infrastructure of Hezbollah, after the Iranian-backed militia fired rockets into northern Israel. Lebanon's state-run news agency said 2 people were killed and 11 wounded. In a city 400 kilometers northeast of Tehran, demonstrators chant death to Israel and burn what Iran's state-controlled television called the enemy's flags. Meanwhile, an IDF spokesman tells Israelis the military is taking all necessary steps to ensure their security and says the Iranian regime is making a serious mistake in choosing to attack. With Iran threatening further strikes on both Israeli and U.S. targets, all signs suggest the ceasefire is as fragile as it's been at any point, despite U.S. President Donald Trump's optimism about the prospects for peace.
How close are you to making a deal? Are we talking about days, weeks, months, Mr. President?
I think we're very close. We have a couple of points. They don't even seem like big points.
Multiple media outlets are reporting that Trump spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu following the Iranian missile launches. Trump told the Financial Times newspaper, quote, "I call the shots," and said Netanyahu won't have any choice but to accept a deal the U.S. makes with Iran. Although Trump reportedly urged Netanyahu in that phone call not to retaliate, Israel already has. The Israeli military confirming it struck targets in western and central Iran in the early hours of Monday. Iran closed the airspace around Tehran's main airport after explosions were reported in the capital. Ian?
And Mike, what does this escalation mean for the talks to try to end this war?
Well, it seems like further evidence that Trump has little room to get a lasting peace agreement between the U.S. and Iran, unless there's also a solution to this spiraling conflict between Israel and Iran.
Mike Crawley in Washington. And another breaking story this evening, a powerful earthquake has shaken the southern part of the Philippines. It happened a short time ago, Monday morning local time, with a magnitude 7.8. People were urged to move to higher ground after reports of a 1-meter tsunami waves along nearby coasts. The epicenter of this quake, 13 kilometers southwest of General Santos City on the island of Mindanao. At least one small building was reported to have collapsed there. Not clear whether people have been trapped or injured. The quake striking at around 7:30 a.m. Israeli authorities say a reservist has been killed and 5 other people wounded after a man opened fire in several communities on both sides of the boundary with the occupied West Bank. They say the shooter was a Palestinian man in his 20s with Israeli citizenship and that he was killed by police. An alleged accomplice was later arrested. The attack comes after an Israeli soldier shot at a vehicle in the occupied West Bank on Friday, killing a 7-month-old Palestinian baby inside. The military says that incident is under review. A look now at the massive problem of financial fraud in this country. Canadians are losing hundreds of millions a year, often bearing the financial loss after banks refuse to reimburse them. Advocates say Canadian laws don't protect them. Erica Johnson of our Go Public team has the story of one TD Bank customer fighting a devastating loss.
I was panicked. I was kind of like a small heart attack.
Shakir Ahmed is talking about a text from TD Bank alerting him his credit line was nearing the limit. When he checked 10 transactions he says he didn't authorize, he was suddenly almost $15,000 in debt.
I am not like a high-income guy. We have mortgage, car payment, kids.
He reported the fraud, filed a police report, but his request for reimbursement was declined. TD said his IP address and one-time passcodes were used.
I can't explain in words how big this is on me. Yeah.
Thing is, he insists he got no passcodes. We asked TD several times what evidence it has his account wasn't hacked. A spokesperson wouldn't say. That's a problem, says this cybersecurity expert.
No evidence of negligence was provided by the banking institution, and I don't know why that is, because if I were the bank, that's the first thing I would show.
He says Canada lags behind other countries like the UK, Singapore, and Australia when it comes to protecting consumers from fraud losses. They have legislation that holds the banks responsible if they can't prove gross negligence by the customer.
So they are incentivized to have proper anti-fraud controls in place.
We asked the federal government why banks here aren't held more responsible for fraud, something consumer advocates and even the banking ombudsman have called for. But the finance minister didn't answer the question.
We're going to be consulting. Like I said, that's why we will launch consultation.
Meantime, Ahmed says TD has begun clawing back monthly payments, including interest, a financial toll he says is devastating.
I did everything to protect my account. They didn't do enough to protect my money.
Ahmed says he'll keep fighting. His next step, small claims court.
The government did recently announce a series of anti-fraud measures. Will those help customers like Ahmed?
Well, they would force banks to have procedures to detect, prevent, and report fraud. But what's missing, say experts, is liability. Nothing in those changes will force banks to pay back customers like Ahmed. At Go Public, Ian, we hear from fraud victims all the time. And in many cases, once customers go to the media, banks do compensate, but not with Ahmed. And without any laws forcing banks to pay up if they can't prove customers are to blame, more and more Canadians might find themselves bearing the cost of Canada's growing fraud problem.
Thanks, Erica. Our Go Public stories come from you. So if you have a tip for the team to investigate, send an email to gopublic@cbc.ca. Many Canadians will be watching the Bank of Canada interest rate decision this week. It comes as the economy sputters and as Ottawa's grocery benefit lands in some bank accounts. As JP Tasker explains, while the money offers some relief, underlying pressures remain.
Soaring food prices are straining family budgets, leaving many to dread the weekly grocery shop.
It is a big bag of anxiety walking into that grocery store, honestly.
Feeding her 4 kids just got a little easier with the government's new quarterly grocery and essentials benefit. But she says a one-time payment of some $500 just isn't enough.
To me, it just feels like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm because, great, I'll get a week or two out of groceries. And yes, that will help for that short period of time. But what about for the remainder of the year when we still need to eat?
The latest economic data shows Canada has slipped into a technical recession, 2 quarters of negative economic growth.
We fully recognize that it's challenging times for sure, and it's crisis after crisis after crisis.
The federal government is blaming the ongoing U.S. trade war and pointing to new job numbers as a sign things are starting to improve. Canada added 88,000 jobs last month, blowing past expectations of about 10,000.
I think what we're seeing again and again is that the Canadian economy is proving more resilient at a time of unprecedented change and shock.
Ottawa's plan to fast-track major projects and spend big on new infrastructure will produce results eventually, says this economist. Still, resolving the U.S. dispute, that's the immediate priority.
There's a lot of things weighing on Canada, from the trade issue to the fact that we don't really have a real engine of growth as of yet.
A meeting in Washington between the two sides has some of the Prime Minister's trade advisors hopeful.
The U.S. is starting to get the issues on the table that they really want addressed in the CUSMA review.
But dealing with the U.S. president is anything but certain.
I think we're ready for a bumpy ride. It's always a bumpy ride with the Americans these days.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, meanwhile, is blasting Mark Carney, saying the U.S. trade war is no excuse for a weak economy.
And JP Poilievre will kick off his campaign to convince Albertans to stay in Canada on Monday. You have some details on what he'll say.
Yeah, CBC News has obtained a copy of his remarks. He's expected to urge Albertans to remain in Canada. Poilievre says the province doesn't need a different country, it needs a different government in Ottawa. In this stridently partisan message, he blames the federal Liberals for separatism in Alberta. Ian?
JP Tasker in Ottawa. The Prime Minister is heading to Europe later this week to visit France, Ireland, and then attend the G7 Leaders Summit. On the agenda for his visits to Paris, Dublin, and County Mayo, deepening Canada's ties when it comes to trade, defence, and artificial intelligence. At the G7, the Prime Minister's office says he'll focus on selling Canada as a reliable partner when it comes to economic security, clean energy, and AI. Former 60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley is speaking out after his abrupt firing from the program. And as Georgie Smythe explains, he's leveling serious allegations of editorial interference at the network.
Those stories and more.
60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley now on the other side of the microphone, speaking with the New York Times in his first sit-down interview since he was fired by CBS.
There was a thumb on the scale for the president's version of events that I felt was a level of political influence that I had never seen in 37 years at CBS News.
Pelley was unsparing in his criticism of the management of his former network. Pelley alleges there's a new subtle political bias pointing to changes he was asked to make to a story about the immigration crackdown in Minneapolis. In response, the company told The Times it only cares about accurate and fair reporting. Pelley became emotional when asked about attacks from President Donald Trump.
He also said you were part of this gang of stupid, crooked people that don't care about your country.
You become a journalist because you love the country. And while all the other descriptions that the president used about me might be applicable, not that one.
The president launched a similar attack on NBC's Meet the Press Sunday against another journalist.
And you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. Right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough.
Pelley's exit from CBS follows a rocky period at the network. Shows were cancelled, top staff and correspondents have left or been fired under new editor-in-chief Barry Weiss, who was appointed after a media merger that some observers say was too close to the White House.
In journalism, corporate and editorial need to stay out of each other's way. It's really just let journalists do their work without any interference.
More media consolidation is coming to the US, with CBS and CNN expected to go under the same roof with another merger sometime this year. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Across Canada, public health officials have been warning about deadlier, more powerful illicit drugs entering the market. Amid signs of a worsening crisis, a new pilot project is launching in Winnipeg. Karen Pauls follows those on the front lines trying to save lives. And a warning, some of the images in this story may be distressing.
It's 33 degrees, early afternoon, and the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service is already busy.
Help. Yeah, can you oxygen? I don't have oxygen on me. And just some Narcan.
District Chief Amy Hancox is trying to help a woman in a bus shelter. She's not breathing. Hancox uses naloxone to revive her. So far this year, the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service has responded to more than 2,400 opioid calls and is on track to break records. On one April day alone, crews had 66 opioid-related calls, the highest single-day number in 15 years.
One example is a dispatcher looking at their screen, trying to send an ambulance to an overdose and a child having an allergic reaction, and there isn't an ambulance for either of them. That's a crisis.
It's a crisis across Canada. Health Canada says there's an average of 16 opioid-related deaths every single day.
It's in a particularly bad phase around the country right now. There's sort of new contaminants in the drug supply, and so people are maybe overdosing more often and then having a more profound overdose.
On Tuesday, the Manitoba government announced a 3-month pilot project, a dedicated 2-person team to respond to overdose calls in high-need areas 24/7.
We hope to, of course, save lives, help the frontline responders with their calls for service.
Just checking on you, making sure you're okay.
But community groups worry it's not enough. Jason Podolanyak's girlfriend died 5 months ago with fentanyl in her system.
When you're an addict and you make the decision to quit, you'll change your mind in an hour. So you got to get them when they want to.
Back on the street, Hancock's is trying to help 3 people.
Buddy, can you wake up?
A couple doses of naloxone and he's revived. Hancock's heads to the next one. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Britain, where he met with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, along with the leaders of Germany and France.
Mr. Starmer, are you able to give Ukraine more arms?
They discussed European support for Ukraine and increasing efforts to bring an end to the war. In Ukraine, Russia struck a nuclear fuel storage facility near Chernobyl. The strike sparked a fire that was quickly extinguished, and officials say radiation is within safe levels. In Ohio, the search continues for suspects in yesterday's mass shooting near a festival.
If you have information, you send it to the police department so we can follow up on it.
12 people were shot, 2 critically injured in Toledo when gunfire erupted near the annual community event. So far, no suspects are in custody. Police say there were at least 2 shooters and that they were likely firing at each other. Louise Arbour is about to become Canada's 31st Governor General.
I will do everything in my power to ensure that people everywhere receive what they are entitled to, not because of their accomplishments, but because of their humanity.
The path that led to her appointment. A new soccer training center is in the works with an eye on growing the sport in Canada.
We're really trying to build for the future, build for the youth.
What the facility could look like. And a pinball passion project.
I love watching other people play it, even more than I enjoy playing it myself.
We're back into
Pride to me is a year's worth of actual pride coming out and just showing it to everyone.
A heat warning didn't stop people from turning out in Winnipeg for the city's annual Pride Parade. Organizers say at least 15,000 people turned up, including Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew. Pride events continued into the evening with drag, music, and theatre performances. Tomorrow morning, Louise Arbour will be installed as Canada's next Governor General, the King's representative tasked with maintaining the country's constitutional order. And as chief political correspondent Rosemary Barton lays out, Arbour brings with her a wealth of experience.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I would not be in this business if I didn't believe in the law.
If there is a single thread running through Louise Arbour's career, that might be it.
I think the law is very clear. There is no immunity.
Belief in the rule of law and a dogged pursuit of justice.
The victims were entitled to expect protection from each one of these accused.
Born and educated in Montreal, Arbour was appointed to the Supreme Court of Ontario in 1987, then 3 years later to Ontario's Court of Appeal. In the mid-90s, she grabbed headlines with a scathing report into conditions at the prison for women in Kingston, Ontario.
An institutional culture that is not respectful of the law
But it was Arbour's next move that would make history.
It's very clear who is preventing us from ascertaining the truth.
As chief prosecutor for the International Criminal Tribunals for the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda, she helped secure the first genocide conviction since the 1948 Genocide Convention and the indictment of Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic.
For the murder of over 340 identified Kosovo Albanians.
She left that position in 1999 to accept a seat at the Supreme Court of Canada, retiring 4 years later to become the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights.
I will do everything in my power to ensure that people everywhere receive what they are entitled to, not because of their accomplishments, but because of their humanity.
Canadians have most recently seen Arbour presenting the findings of her inquiry into sexual harassment in the Canadian military.
What's happening in the military system is not sustainable.
All of it, the Prime Minister says, leads her to be uniquely qualified for this role.
Her work matters in and of itself. It also tells us something about what Louise Arbour will bring to Rideau Hall. The conviction that institutions are the load-bearing walls of a civil society.
Rosemary Barton, CBC News, Ottawa.
And Rosie will host special coverage of the installation ceremony live from the Senate of Canada building in Ottawa. It begins at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, wherever you watch CBC News. Soccer great Christine Sinclair is getting geared up for the FIFA World Cup.
I cannot wait for Canadians to see the passion and the excitement surrounding these games.
Her role in the tournament. And an ancient sport getting new attention in Mexico.
We are connected with energies from the grandfathers.
The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next.
You can strip the labels. Sasha Zverev is now and forever a Grand Slam champion.
An emotional Alexander Zverev after winning his first Grand Slam title at the French Open in Paris today. He becomes the first German to win at Roland Garros in almost 90 years after stopping his Italian opponent 3-2. And on the women's side, another first-time champion, Mira Andreeva, showing off her prize in the French capital today, the day after the Russian became the youngest winner since 1992. And Edmonton Oilers captain Connor McDavid's parents had a big surprise for him on the golf course today, showing up with the Ted Lindsay Award, the NHL's most outstanding player, as voted by other players.
For the fifth time.
Yes, congratulations.
What an unbelievable accomplishment. Thank you very much.
McDavid now joins Wayne Gretzky as the only 5-time winners. He also led the league in scoring this year. While the FIFA World Cup games haven't yet begun, some are preparing for what the event will leave behind after the last goal is scored. Canada will have a national training centre for soccer, but as Thomas Dagler explains, where it will be is still up in the air.
Instead of spending billions like Qatar did to build new World Cup venues, or digging a money pit like Montreal's troubled Olympic Stadium, Canada Soccer has a different legacy in mind for this summer's tournament.
We're really trying to build for the future, build for the youth in the country, build a national training center, create an infrastructure that will help the sport for the future.
With the U.S. recently cutting the ribbon at its new national training center, Canada is left as one of the few soccer nations without its own hub for the sport. Canada's men traveled to train in North Carolina at a sprawling facility that looks like what this country is hoping to build.
What would be your advice to an organization like that looking to build something like this?
Same as I was told, as much space as possible. You would rather have too much space than too little.
Adam Parr helped design the gym used by Major League Soccer's Charlotte FC, complete with a motion capture system to analyze a player's movement, high-tech tools to help avoid hamstring strains,
We just hit start.
And red light therapy beds for recovery after a match.
We are trying to set a standard for a type of facility that serves all the way up and down the pathway from local community club soccer all the way up to senior national team soccer.
The Canadian government is pledging $10 million for the project, with 18 sites vying to host the training center.
I'm from Montreal. If that can be in Montreal, that would be nice, but anywhere in Canada really is going to be great just to have that as a base.
Montreal is indeed in the running, so are Surrey, BC, and Mississauga, Ontario. Wherever it opens years from now, Canada Soccer hopes the new National Training Centre will serve as a key legacy of this World Cup. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
In the breakdown tonight, Canada's soccer legend Christine Sinclair reflects on a home World Cup, and ahead of the tournament, an ancient Indigenous game is getting new life in Mexico. For Mayans, Poktapak is more than just a game.
We are connected with energies from the grandfathers.
It's a symbol of survival and tradition. But first,
It's a hat-trick for Christine Sinclair!
Canada's greatest goal scorer of all time, Christine Sinclair, shares a word with the men's team ahead of their opening World Cup game on Friday.
My advice to them would be to enjoy it, take a minute to take it in, and then it's back to business.
Eli Glasner spoke with Sinclair about what it's like playing in a World Cup on home soil and her new FIFA role.
6 World Cups, 4 Olympics, 23 years in red and white.
A rival called me an old hag once.
Christine,
What?
I watched the short that you're the star of. So I'm just curious, just from watching it, how did it work? Were you just kind of sitting there listening to Ryan Reynolds like say wonderful things about you, or did you see the script before?
No,
or?
it started with a lot of interviews and
Right.
finding out what really mattered to me, what stories I wanted to get across. And then we reached out to Ryan to see if he would be willing to participate in it.
Nike Boots FIFA cover Barbie doll, postage stamp, rec center, or coin a star, all the awards, plus, 3 of these little garbage trinkets.
Now, what was that like? Because I know we had that wonderful moment a while ago where we kind of surprised you
Yes.
with a message from Ryan.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you for inspiring me, my kids, kids all over Canada and the world.
And I recall you saying near the end, I need his...
Maybe his phone number.
Yeah.
While we're at it, yeah.
So I'm wondering if you got that phone number and if you've managed to connect off camera.
No. So if he happens to watch this, maybe someday we can be
Ryan,
friends.
come on, man.
Maybe someday we can be friends.
I'm sure. Well, the interaction in the short is flawless. Now, there's this beautiful moment in it where we see the kind of animated version of you and your mother.
Hey, Mom! Over here!
I see you.
Talk to me about why you had to have that in this short.
Yeah, I think my relationship with my mom is one of the most, if not the most impactful one I've had in my life. And obviously, having a mom living with MS impacted my life greatly, and just gave me a lot of perspective in life. Unfortunately, she's not here anymore, but I thought it was important to have her in the film because she played such a huge role in who I am, off the field, on the field. She was my first soccer coach.
When your mother dealing with MS got more challenging, what was it like to be playing a game and kind of have that in the back of your mind when, as you said, she was so much behind you for so much of your life?
Yeah, I think the hardest part for me was when things started to get, progress with MS. I was away at college, and so the guilt of being away, not being at home to help, and then playing professionally, you don't really have a choice where you're playing, and at the time there were no professional teams here in Canada, right. So if I wanted to pursue my dream of playing professional soccer, I had to, leave Vancouver and be in Portland. But I knew I was right where I was supposed to be, and my mom would never have allowed me to be back in Vancouver, not pursuing my dream to help at home. She would never have allowed that.
I see that
at
look.
all.
I see that look in your eye.
No,
and
she would have been like,
I
get
feel
out.
like I'm getting mom a little.
Yeah,
I was
she
like,
would
no,
have been.
get back
She
out
would have
there.
been like, go. Like, I don't need you. Go.
Now, when you retired, you said you wanted to leave the game in a better place.
I could have never imagined the career I've had, and I could have never imagined like where this sport is now compared to where it was when I was, growing up or when I first joined the national team.
So I want to do kind of a check-in. What kind of grade would you give women's soccer in Canada right now?
I would give, where are we in women's soccer in this country? I'd give us like a solid B.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of progress over the past couple years with a professional league, the NSL here in Canada, but there are still a lot of obstacles that need to be overcome. Infrastructure being a huge one in this country, the lack of stadiums, like those medium-sized stadiums that we just don't have.
What are you seeing at like the ground level with young women coming into this sport?
I mean, it's still a challenge, the dropout rates. Once they reach teenager years, it's still there. I don't know. The way I see it is young boys, it's okay for them to just play. Oh, they're boys. Whereas I still think there's a stigma around girls just playing. Like, not everyone is going to play pro, but it doesn't mean their dreams should end. And introducing them to different parts of a professional environment, whether that's coaching, refereeing, the medical, media side, there's so many possibilities now because of these professional environments where you can be involved even if you aren't playing. And that didn't exist 5 years ago.
She's amazing.
She's really inspiring.
And, she's such an inspiration for our girls. She's done so much for the game.
She's my favorite person.
Have you had a chance to talk to some young girls either in Vancouver or Portland and kind of experience that excitement that you've generated?
Yes. Obviously, I'm there all the time. I'm at, whether it's Rise games, Thorns games, GoldenEye game, you name it, I'm there. And the thing that I am always so delighted to see is the signs then they hold up, future Rise player, future Thorns player.
Right.
That always hits me because I never had that.
Yeah.
Like, I was convinced I was going to be a Toronto Blue Jay. Like,
Why?
Like, I played baseball.
Right.
The Jays were my team. And I turned on the TV and I saw the Blue Jays. And now these young girls can go to NSL games, PWHL games, soon WNBA games to, have a different dream.
Yeah.
And they're going to live a completely different reality, and it's amazing.
Well, let's talk about the fever dream that is the FIFA World Cup that's about to take over the continent. You're an ambassador.
Yes.
Why? Why did you choose to get involved? What does that mean?
I mean, I think, first of all, very proud to be from Vancouver. Very proud to welcome the world to what I think is the most beautiful city in the world. And to be asked to be a part of it, it's an honor. I mean, realistically, not many women are asked to be involved in male sports. And I cannot wait for Canadians to see the passion and the excitement surrounding these games, and then hopefully it rubs off on some of the Canadian fans, and we just go from there.
There you go. Are you going to be like in the stands? I guess as part of it, you won't. I mean, tried to buy some tickets, had a small heart attack, and I don't. I mean, I already have one mortgage, so I'm not going to be doing that.
I mean, obviously, I'm fortunate. So the CSA, the Canadian Soccer Association, as a Hall of Fame member, I get access to tickets.
Amazing.
And then being in Vancouver, I'll get to go to the games there. And I'm so excited to watch. I've never gone to a Men's World Cup. I've never been to a game.
Wow.
And just as a fan, as a Canadian fan, I can't wait to go cheer on our guys.
That moment where our boys, our team, step onto that pitch for a World Cup match.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah.
Bedlam in the stands. What are they going to be feeling? What is that going to be like?
Emotional. I mean, I had the privilege of doing that in 2015, walking out at a home World Cup opening match, and feeling completely overwhelmed in a good way. You're surrounded by, 60,000 screaming Canadians, your friends, your family, all the people that have supported you along the way. You get to share that moment with them. My advice to them would be to enjoy it and take it in. Take a minute to take it in, and then it's back to business. But this opportunity comes once in a lifetime, and you got to give yourself a little bit of time to just, wow, this is incredible.
You fought so hard to get there.
Yeah.
Revel in it for a second.
Just a little bit, and then it's back to business.
But when you're back to business, do you hear the crowd? I wonder, if you just all business block that out, or is that part of the fuel?
You don't hear that.
Really?
And I can't explain it. It's silent, and it's just a game. And then obviously there's breaks in the game, you can hear the crowd then, but no, when you're in the zone, everything's gone.
Talking about being in the zone, I want to finish most international goals ever, 190, an amazing, unimaginable number. Can you, Christine, give me one of your favorite goals and bring me back to that moment? What stands out for you?
I think we were just talking about the game, the opening game of the World Cup in 2015.
And it's Canada's all-time leading goal scorer, Christine Sinclair, with a chance to win it for Canada late on.
For me, it was the meaning of that moment. It was the 90th minute. It was a tie game.
With the hopes of a nation resting on her shoulders.
I took a penalty shot.
Against Wang Fei. Sinclair! Finally, the breakthrough for Canada! Christine Sinclair, the hero!
To score that, to win the opening game of the World Cup in front of Canada, in front of all my friends and family, it was a relief, but it was just one of those moments I'll never forget. And it was that I heard the crowd then when the ball went in the net, and it just, you're sharing that moment with your country, and it doesn't get better than that.
And Canada's men's team will arrive in Toronto tonight and get their chance to take in the World Cup atmosphere on Friday when they walk onto the pitch at Toronto Stadium to play Bosnia. Coming up, in the shadow of this summer's World Cup, a centuries-old indigenous sport is making a comeback in Mexico.
The ball game is heritage from my grandfathers.
We'll speak with those working to keep the tradition alive next. Just days before the opening World Cup game in Mexico, Mayans are pushing to keep a sacred sport alive.
Changed my life.
A unique game with deep cultural significance. Jorge Barrera spoke with some of those traveling across the country, trying to revive a game thousands of years old.
In the land of the indigenous Maya people, a baseball field transformed for an ancient game.
For me, this sport is to be reborn again, returning to the land, back home, Mother Earth. It is the return of my ancestors.
Reina Maria Puzzi is the president of the Mesoamerican Ball Game Association of Mexico.
For me, this sport is the pride of my culture, my tradition, my roots.
This sport, for her, is also ceremony, merging the physical with the spiritual. It's generally played 5 to a side. Players can only hit the ball with their hips and thighs, 4 fingers up from the knee. You score 5 points if your side gets the ball across the opponent's back line, plus points for the other side's infractions, like whiffing on the ball.
We are warriors on the Red Road, and we have to continue the legacy of our ancestors, because this game is thousands of years old.
And this sport goes by several names.
In the Maya region, it's called Poctapoc. Why? Because I speak Maya. In the center of the country, it's called Ulama. Why? Because they are from the center of the country and they speak Nahuatl.
This sport was nearly wiped out by the Spanish. It was once played across Mexico, down into Central America.
But only in Mexico was it protected.
Armando Osorio Uscanga says it survived eradication in the rugged Sierra of the northwestern Mexican state of Sinaloa. And for the past 20 years, Armando and his wife, Reina, have been traveling community to community teaching the sport.
There were some places we came across to teach where people said it was dangerous because there was a large mafia presence. When you love something, you don't fear anything.
Wilberto Canche is a shaman from the Mayan community of Ekbalam.
The ball game is heritage from my grandfathers. We continue with the Mayan tradition.
He learned the game from Armando.
We are connected with energies from the grandfathers, from the ancestors, for elements, from energy from the ground, for play. Changed my life because in the past I drink very much alcohol, but with the ball game we focus my energy, focus my mind in the ball.
Armando collects deadfall by his home in Playa del Carmen for the traditional process to fashion the game ball, formed by mixing the sap from the Mexican rubber tree with the moonflower vine. It takes about 4 hours of kneading and rolling to produce a game ball.
This is a game that you play by above and below. You play on both levels, on the ground and through the air. This is a game of life and death, of positive and the negative.
With the FIFA World Cup looming, this ancient sport played by the Maya, Aztecs, and Olmecs is getting new attention as part of Mexico's core cultural heritage. But for Reina, this attention is just cosmetic.
On this land, before soccer, there was the ball game.
She says the Mexican government doesn't take this ancient sport seriously.
It's really sad that the government and politicians don't rescue it. They don't want to see that they come from this tradition, that they come from this land.
She believes that someday it will become bigger than soccer here.
One day they will focus on this game in the same way that they do soccer. To go see our events, our great national events, World Cups that our grandfathers told us would one day return.
Every preparation, every game is another step towards that dream. So they wait for that day when they hope this ancient game will take its rightful place at the center of Mexican culture. This game ends with a ring brought onto the field. The first side to get the ball through, winning.
Mexico City is one of the 16 host cities for this summer's World Cup, and it will be the venue for Thursday's opening game between the home squad and South Africa. Coming up, an Ontario artist creates a one-of-a-kind pinball machine.
I've been into pinball my whole life. It's just the ultimate gaming art experience all bundled into one.
His creation 3 years in the making, next in our moment. This is Marco Bucci and his son playing a game of pinball, one that Bucci created all by himself. Every day for nearly 3 years, he tinkered away at the machine, and now that he's ready to share it with the world, his homemade creation makes our moment.
I built a commercial pinball machine. Finally achieved a lifelong dream of mine. This project took almost 3 years to finish. I started with a design just on paper, and you just start building one piece after another. I feel like when people come to a project like this, usually they have an engineering background. I'm reverse. I have the art background. I had to learn how to work with metal and computer coding and 3D printing and all these kind of things to make different elements come together in a gameplay. The art is all hand-drawn. The theme of mine, I went with, it's The Simpsons, but specifically it's Who Shot Mr. Burns? That is my all-time favorite Simpsons episode. I've been into pinball my whole life. It's just the ultimate gaming art experience all bundled into one. I play it every day. I do try and travel, get some public plays on it, because I love watching other people play it, even more than I enjoy playing it myself.
So it takes art, it takes mechanics, it takes a voice. He had to hire a voice actor to do all the Simpsons voices, which he won't need for his next project, which is a video game featuring Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. I guess he'll need the beep beep, but maybe he can do that himself. From all of us on The National, thanks for being with us. I'm Ian Hannamansing in Vancouver. You can also join me on CBC News Network weeknights at 7 Eastern. See you then.